Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I am Gino Buccola alongside Mailloux with producer Bobby helping us out as we get you ready for opening day at Santa Anita. Remember, because of wet weather projected in Southern California, opening day has been pushed back 2 days. So it will be December the 28th. It will be run on Sunday this year. Ashley, it is a fantastic program. There are, I think, 6 graded stakes races, 11 races on the card. You'll see some big stars, and probably one of the biggest names on the entire card is a horse who's going to headline the race that we're going to preview right now in Nysos.
Yeah, looking at the Laffit Pincay Junior Stakes, mile and a 16th here, grade 2 event. It's one of the shorter fields in terms of the graded stakes this Sunday out at Santa Anita. But you mentioned it, Nysos is going to be the headline, an extremely short price on the morning line at 3 to 5. But how could he not be based on his resume to date, especially his performance last time out in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile? And I think it's going to be interesting from a pace perspective because we typically think Bob Baffert's speed. He's quick, Gino, but he's not necessarily a pace setter in this event. And I think he's going to maybe just sit from off of it, which probably helps him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, completely agree. He looks really good on paper in here. You kind of forget about his overall resume when you talk about him, that he's lost one time off of a long layoff by a neck to Mind Frame in a race where it was also with Book of Dano and like a really strong group. So he is very, very good. Nevada Beach is in great form right now as well, though, for trainer Bob Baffert. He's a grade 1 winner, and he's a multiple graded stakes winner. So I think those two will obviously be the top two as far as the betting is concerned. Let's see what Timeform US thinks and how this race shapes up. To me, maybe a wild card in the race, Ashley, is Bartholdy, just because of the projector. I don't know how good he is. I don't think he's quite as good as Nysos or Nevada Beach, but you were pointing out, normally in a race where there's a Baffert runner or two, that horse is the speed. But in this race, it does look like Bartholdy, who's stretching out from sprint races and drawn to the outside, he looks like he should be the controlling speed in here.
Yeah, I have to think he goes Vodka Vodka. Maybe could go a little bit. I know they show him tracking in third early on. We'll see. Comes out of a race where they went 22 and then 45 and 3 to the half. And he was kind of right there in the mix. But I do think, the outside runner in here probably has the advantage based on what we've seen combined with the draw.
Let's meet the field for the grade 2 Laffit Pincay Jr. This one's named after one of the all-time great riders. I think second still in career victories for riders. And here's Nysos winning the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Now, this wasn't easy for him. It wasn't easy getting to the Breeders' Cup. He missed the Pacific Classic. He missed another prep race at Santa Anita. And it was not easy winning the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He had to work really hard and deal with a stablemate here, but he does get the job done, Ashley. He's very classy. He's very honest. And I mean, you can just see he's kind of been his own worst enemy, because the biggest problem he's always had is just staying on the track and being able to string races together. Every time he shows up, he's very impressive. He's versatile. He can sit, and he just looks really good. Like, his resume does kind of tower over this field.
It does. And I think, in terms of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, I like that he had to work for it. I know people expected him maybe to draw off really easy in there, but again, he had time off. And so I don't think, looking at his body of work, not that he's been bad off a layoff, I think he's usually better with a race under his belt. So I think this sets up beautifully for him. We talked about it from a pace perspective. He should get the right trip in here. And I know, Citizen Bull, his stablemate, made him work for it, but I think in hindsight, it's going to make him much stronger in this race.
I wonder about the timing too. I don't know anything about this, but if he runs well here, would he be a horse that we see show up in the Pegasus next month? That's something that they've not really been a mile and an eighth with this horse and going distances with him, but they were kind of trying to get him to the Breeders' Cup Classic, and because they missed the time, they ended up going to the Dirt Mile. So, I mean, he would obviously be a headliner if he ran well and showed up at Gulfstream Park next month. We move to Vodka Vodka, a very cool Calbred. I want to give it up to trainer Aggie Ordonez. She has done a fantastic job over the last couple years with some of the Calbreds that she has, stepping them up. Vodka Vodka has won 3 of the last 4. He is sharp. He can run on turf or on dirt. He has speed. He can come from off the pace a little bit, but this is a pretty sizable step up. He's going to deal with a couple really tough competitors in here.
And scored an upset in that race on that Breeders' Cup, Friday program, and got a beautiful trip from Kent Desormeaux, kind of the barn's go-to rider. You mentioned Aggie. Don't know her personally, but I've seen some features on her. I would love to meet her someday. She's done a tremendous job with this horse. The other horse, that's the big one in her barn, Almond Joy, another one that's been really sensational, especially this year. And I think in terms of trip, Vodka Vodka could get the right setup, but here is going to be the real test, because last time got tested in the sense that faced good horses, not Calbreds, and now has to jump into not just stakes competition, but graded stakes competition for the first time. It's not going to be an easy task for him. Maybe he can get a sliver.
Nevada Beach is next up. He's a grade 1 winner and a multiple graded stakes winner. He wins the Goodwood, then he goes in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Honestly, I think he was just a little bit overmatched in there. If you look at all of the horses who finished in front of him, they were very, very nice. Forever Young, Sierra Leone, Fierceness, Journalism, Mind Frame, all top quality horses. He comes back in the Native Diver. He has to work a little bit to get that victory, but it was just a field of 4. And I will say, with Nevada Beach, he is a lot more of a distance type horse. I think in those smaller fields where there's not as much speed, that kind of goes against his running style and where he's at his best. So I am a little bit worried just at the trip of this particular race, Ashley, a mile and a 16th, because I do think he does his best running when they're able to go a little bit longer than this. But he's very classy and he's lightly raced. And he's another one you look overall and he's won 4 of his 6 starts with a second. Not many times where he's shown up and not fired. The only time was the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where he goes even after this and how good he is. The reason I bring that up is, sure, they put him in the Goodwood and he wins that, and they put him in the Classic and he doesn't run well. I think he was overmatched as well. I just think he was, in too deep of the end of the pool, to be honest. But you look at him, they've had him against older in a lot of his races, and we've seen him against the straight 3-year-olds twice. One of them was a blowout performance in the Los Al Derby. I don't know how good he is. I think in this group, what he probably gets is a similar trip to Vodka Vodka, where he's probably stalking early on. And I kind of agree with you. I mean, not that he can't win at this distance, but I think he wants to go a little bit further. So I find him to be curious. I can't get a great read on him in terms of his potential and if he's, hit his ceiling.
Yeah, I like him overall as a horse. I'm not sure about this particular spot here, but there's not a lot of spots for a horse like this. So we'll see if his class can maybe prevail at a distance. Might be a little shorter than where he's best. We move to Cornishman, comes off of a 3rd place finish. It was over at Zia Park most recently. He is a grade 3 winner back in July at Prairie Meadows, and that was a career best effort for him. Last time out, he was 10th out of 10 early on. He made this big 4-5 wide move at the top of the lane up to challenge, and then he flattened out a little bit. So, he's in good form right now. His last 3-4 races, he's run well in 3 of them out of the 4, but this is another pretty big step up. If you're just looking at speed figures, he's going to have to improve quite a bit.
And I try not to be biased, but I do remember before his debut and even after his debut, there was a lot of hype about him. He's going to be really, really good. And I just don't think he ended up panning out to be that way. I mean, he was second to Antiquarian, second to Mind Frame, and he's faced some, tough horses along the way. But while I think he ran well last time out, I think he probably takes a step forward off of that. I don't think this is an easy spot for him to, really shine.
We moved to British Isles. Prior to the Native Diver, he had 3 dirt races beaten double-digit lengths. So he just did not seem like a dirt horse. They gave him a shot in the Native Diver because it was just a small field and they wanted to just, take a swing in a graded stakes race. He ran really, really well. He finished second behind Nevada Beach. So you can understand why they take another chance here in what would be the next graded stakes race on the dirt. Still don't know overall if he's a better dirt horse than he is a turf horse. He got a solid figure last time out, but I understand what they're doing. And you know what? You take Nysos out of the field and you have British Isles right there next to Nevada Beach. You understand why they take a chance in here in this field. I need to see a little bit more from him on the dirt. I want to see him put maybe 2 good dirt races together before I'm able to really warm up to him a little bit.
Yeah, they started him on the dirt, didn't work out. And then you mentioned it last time out in the Native Diver, career best figure in terms of a buyer, a 95. And you kind of go down the page, he's had a 90. It catches my eye. I think he's really intriguing. And from a pedigree perspective, being by Justify and the mare Purely Hot, she did some great things on the racetrack. Stakes place, she's a grade 3 winner. She was really salty and she had some dirt wins under her belt as well, 4 to be exact, and makes this one a half to 8 rings. I'm very intrigued by this horse at a huge price. I'm not saying I think British Isles is going to win this race, but I do think take a little bit of a wait and see approach and maybe bookmark this one for next out. I will use him underneath though.
I like that dam a bit too, purely hot. She was very honest. We moved to Indispensable, multiple graded stakes placed. He was in that small field of 4 in the native diver, and he was behind 2 of these rivals, Nevada Beach and British Isles. You look at his last 3 races, he hit the board in the ACAC when he finished 3rd, but the 2 out in Southern California, he's been a bit overmatched. What do we do with Indispensable here?
Kind of like him at this distance. I think the 1.25 and a 1.125, at least recently, has pushed it, and remember seeing him in the Oklahoma Derby, and just like that little extra towards the end at a 1.125 didn't work for him. So I think the distance helps him. I'm curious to see what they're going to do strategy wise. What sort of trip is he going to get? Personally, stalking in the last 2, it's really tough to read because last time out was a 4-horse field. So he was out the back, just 1 or 2 lengths off of it and never made a move. So I'll draw a line through that. And I'm going to hope that he gets a trip similar to 2 back at Churchill.
Bartholdy rounds out the field. He is grade 3 placed. He looks like the one to catch. He's drawn well on the outside. He has run 10 times for Steve Knapp since the claim, 4 wins, 3 seconds, and 3/3. And he has a grade 3 placed. He finished behind a really sharp horse named Roll On Big Joe in the Palos Verdes. He's only been a mile plus 5 times, though. 3 of them were on the grass. In his 2 on the dirt, he did finish 2nd and 3rd going a mile. So, I go back and forth with him because he's in really good form. Knapp has done a fantastic job with him. He does have speed. And in a race where we're kind of poking holes in a lot of these horses outside of Nysos, I could see him getting out front, running really well, and hitting the board being an underneath type. I think everything would have to go his way to get the better of a horse like Nysos and probably even Nevada Beach, but he's really moving in the right direction right now, and he has speed. He can use that weapon. I like a lot of what he's been doing lately, Ashley.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is what you mentioned. He has speed. He probably makes the lead in here. I think the draw helps him. And can he stick around for a share? Maybe. You mentioned it. He really hasn't gone this distance, at least on the dirt. He's gone a 1.125 on the turf, and actually the performance wasn't all that bad. Indispensable actually participated in that event. He only missed by 1.25. I am just worried that he's going to get tired late, even if he makes an easy lead. But if it's very easy for him, maybe the exotics are a possibility.
As we round out the field, Ashley, we'll hand it over to you. Who are you going to put on top in this one?
This is really great, right? Nysos. I don't know how you pick anyone else with confidence on top, knowing what he's been able to do. I really can't poke holes in him, and hate to give out a 3 to 5 shot on top. But I think when you kind of look at this card, and we call him free squares, he's one of them Sunday at Santa Anita.
Our friend Todd Schrupp, who works over for FanDuel, sometimes he'll say, "You're getting crazy with the cheese whiz." I try to get crazy with the cheese whiz as much as possible, Ashley. Even I, one of the crazier, couldn't get crazy in this race. Nysos on top, 1-7-3-4 for me. Maybe Bartholdy could offer a little bit of value. That's who I'll look at underneath. 1-3-6-5 for Ashley. Whoever you play, however you play them, we wish you the best of luck.